Grant Wilson co-founded TAPS with Jason Hawes and created Ghost Hunters in 2004. The show pioneered modern paranormal television and ran successfully for 11 seasons, then suddenly canceled in 2016. Official reason: creative differences. But fans never believed it. Something happened that Sci-Fi buried. One investigation went catastrophically wrong. Footage was banned from ever airing, until last week when Grant Wilson leaked it. Subscribe, because what's on that footage will shock you. A crew member's death caught on camera. Genuine possession documented. The investigation that ended Ghost Hunters forever. Marcus Reynolds died on August 23, 2016 during filming. Sci-Fi covered it up. His family was silenced. The show was canceled to bury the truth. But Grant just released 9 minutes of footage showing exactly what happened, and it's darker than anyone thought. Ghost Hunters premiered in October 2004 on Sci-Fi, created by Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson, two plumbers from Rhode Island who founded TAPS, the Atlantic Paranormal Society. The show revolutionized paranormal television by introducing a scientific approach to ghost hunting. Unlike sensationalized shows, Ghost Hunters focused on debunking first and finding genuine evidence second. This credible methodology made paranormal investigation mainstream and attracted millions of viewers, peaking at over 3 million per episode during its height. The original team dynamic was perfectly balanced. Jason Hawes served as lead investigator with his analytical, skeptical approach. Grant Wilson was co-lead, bringing calm professionalism and empathy. Steve Gonsalves managed technology and equipment. Dave Tango served as case manager. The chemistry was authentic, the investigations felt real, and the content remained family-friendly. Ghost Hunters built a trustworthy brand that changed how America viewed the paranormal. The show's success from 2004 to 2015 was unprecedented. 11 successful seasons aired with international spin-offs created, including Ghost Hunters International and Ghost Hunters Academy. Massive merchandising followed with books, equipment, and convention appearances. The show inspired an entire generation of paranormal investigators and legitimized the field. Grant Wilson's departure in 2010 during Season 8 shocked fans. The official reason given was spending time with family, but fans always suspected more. The show continued without Grant with Jason as sole lead, but the chemistry was never the same. New team members were added, including Amy Bruni and Adam Berry, and while ratings gradually declined, the show remained successful and profitable. The shocking cancellation came in October 2016 after Season 11. Sci-Fi announced Ghost Hunters will not return, with vague reasoning about it being time to end the series. There was no proper finale episode, no goodbye to fans who had watched for 12 years. This was very unusual for such a successful franchise. Something was clearly wrong. The banned episode was Season 11, Episode 13, filmed in August 2016. The episode was titled The Warren House and documented an investigation at a private residence in rural Pennsylvania. It was scheduled as the season finale but was pulled 3 days before the air date and never aired. The investigation involved a historic home where a family was experiencing extreme paranormal activity, including physical attacks on their children. A demonic presence was suspected. TAPS was brought in as a last resort after a priest's attempted exorcism had made the activity worse. The family was desperate for help, and the Ghost Hunters team believed their 11 seasons of experience had prepared them for anything. They were tragically wrong. During the investigation's second night, everything went catastrophically wrong. A camera operator named Marcus Reynolds, 34 years old and an experienced crew member who had worked on Ghost Hunters for 6 years, was filming routine footage in the basement alone. This was standard protocol for solo investigations. Then he screamed, not acted fear, but genuine terror. The team rushed to the basement and found Marcus unconscious and not breathing. CPR was performed immediately and 911 was called. The ambulance arrived 18 minutes later due to the rural location being far from the hospital. Marcus never regained consciousness. He was pronounced dead at the hospital at 2:47 a.m. on August 23, 2016. The cause of death was cardiac arrest, but Marcus was healthy with no medical history. He was only 34 years old. Medical examiners were baffled. Marcus's camera was still recording during his final moments. Everything was documented on film. What he saw before dying, his physical reaction, the possession that occurred, all captured in disturbing detail. The footage was too graphic and disturbing to air on television. Sci-Fi's response was immediate. Production was shut down completely. The episode was canceled. An internal investigation was launched. The legal team was activated. The insurance company got involved. OSHA was notified. The crew was sent home. Marcus's family was devastated and left without answers. The legal nightmare was massive. Wrongful death concerns arose immediately. Marcus's family could potentially sue for dangerous working conditions. The network was potentially liable for millions. The production company was exposed. The insurance company denied coverage, invoking their paranormal activity exclusion clause. Potential damages could reach tens of millions of dollars. Network executives held emergency meetings and made a decision. The episode will never air. All footage must be destroyed. NDA, everyone immediately. They needed to protect the brand, protect from lawsuits, bury all evidence, and pretend the incident never happened. The entire show was canceled because the liability was too great. Continuing ghost hunters after a crew member's death would invite public questions. Insurance wouldn't cover future investigations. The crew was traumatized. Jason Hawes was devastated by guilt. They couldn't investigate the same way anymore. It was better to end the show completely than risk another tragedy. The official narrative became, the show ran its course. Time to move on after 11 successful seasons, ending on a high note. There was no mention of Marcus's death, no mention of the banned episode. Marcus's family was paid a settlement that included a strict NDA preventing them from discussing how he died, where he died, or during what production. Every crew member was forced to sign NDAs, Jason, Steve, Tango, all production staff, and Marcus's family. All were legally bound never to discuss the incident, never to mention Marcus's name, and never to reveal that footage existed. Grant Wilson held a unique position. He had left the show 6 years before the incident and wasn't present for the investigation, so he wasn't bound by any NDAs. However, Jason told him everything off the record, friend to friend. Grant kept the secret for years to protect Jason. The footage appeared online 1 week ago through an anonymous upload to multiple platforms simultaneously. 9 minutes of raw footage from Marcus's camera went immediately viral, with millions of views within hours. Sci-Fi is attempting to remove it everywhere through copyright strikes, but it's spreading too fast to contain. The opening sequence shows Marcus in the basement alone, setting up his night vision camera and providing casual commentary. Basement is pretty creepy down here. It's standard ghost hunters footage with nothing unusual yet, just routine investigation with no warning of the horror to come. At the 1-minute mark, the first anomaly occurs. Temperature drops become visible as Marcus's breath suddenly shows in the camera frame. "Whoa, it just got really cold," he says. The camera picks up frost forming rapidly on the walls and ceiling within seconds, not gradually. Marcus notices but continues filming professionally. During an EVP session at 2 minutes, Marcus asks, "Is anyone here with me?" A response comes immediately. A deep male voice that is clearly not Marcus saying, "Get out." Marcus is startled but continues the investigation. The escalation begins at 3 minutes. Objects start moving on their own. A chair slides across the floor with no one touching it. Shelves shake violently and items fall. Marcus backs away, saying, "Okay, this is getting really intense," but still maintains professionalism and keeps filming. At 4 minutes, the attack begins. Marcus is suddenly grabbed by an invisible force and pulled backwards violently, then slammed into the wall. His camera falls and captures everything sideways. Marcus is visible in the frame on the ground, struggling as something invisible holds him down. The possession occurs from 5 to 7 minutes. Marcus's body convulses, not like a seizure, but something else entirely. His face contorts unnaturally. His voice changes completely and he begins speaking in a different language later identified as Latin. His eyes roll back and it's clear that Marcus is no longer in control of his own body. The entity speaks through Marcus's mouth from 7 to 8 minutes. The voice is deep and inhuman, saying, "This one is mine," and laughing while taunting whoever might be watching. Marcus's body moves in ways that are physically wrong, with bones cracking audibly. The final moments from 8 to 9 minutes show Marcus suddenly becoming still in complete silence. Then he begins gasping, trying desperately to breathe but cannot. His hand reaches toward the camera, scratching at his own throat. Then he collapses completely. The discovery happens as footsteps are heard on the stairs. The team arrives yelling, "Marcus! Marcus!" The camera shows Jason Hawes entering the frame and finding Marcus unconscious. "Call 911 now!" Jason begins CPR immediately as the footage ends abruptly. Jason Hawes was the first to reach Marcus in the basement. He immediately began performing CPR with his training kicking in automatically, but Marcus wasn't responding. Jason's voice is captured on camera saying, "Come on, buddy, breathe," with desperation breaking through his professional veneer. He rode in the ambulance to the hospital and was there when Marcus was pronounced dead. Jason had to make the phone call to Marcus's wife, Sarah, which he later described as the worst moment of his life. "I brought him there," Jason said, consumed by survivor's guilt. He couldn't eat for days and still has nightmares about that night. Steve Gonsalves also rushed to the basement and witnessed the CPR attempts. He called 911 and stayed calm during the emergency but broke down completely afterward. "Marcus was my friend," Steve said. The experience made him question everything about what they were really doing investigating the paranormal. Dave Tango, the youngest team member, had never witnessed death before. He was completely shaken, saying this was supposed to be safe. He left paranormal investigation entirely for several years, unable to process what happened. The experience changed him permanently. Multiple camera crew members quit immediately after the incident. "Not worth dying for," they said. Some needed professional therapy for PTSD symptoms. They couldn't watch the footage and couldn't continue filming paranormal investigations. Word spread quietly through the industry about what really happened. Marcus Reynolds' family was devastated. His wife Sarah and 2 young children couldn't understand how a healthy 34-year-old man suddenly died. The autopsy showed cardiac arrest, but there was no underlying medical condition. The medical examiner was baffled by the case. Sci-Fi paid the family an undisclosed settlement reportedly exceeding $2 million, but it came with a strict NDA. The family couldn't speak publicly about how Marcus died, where it happened, or during what show production. Their silence was bought. The funeral was attended by the entire Ghost Hunters team in a private ceremony. They couldn't explain to others how Marcus really died, using only the generic explanation, "accident on set," while everyone present knew the horrifying truth, but was unable to speak it. Grant Wilson received a call from Jason, even though Grant had left the show years earlier. They were still friends, and Jason needed to tell someone who wasn't bound by the NDA. Grant listened to everything and kept Jason's confidence for years, carrying the burden of that knowledge silently. Sci-Fi was alerted within hours of the footage appearing online. The legal team was activated immediately, and crisis management mode began. Copyright strikes were filed and removal requests sent everywhere, including YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. But the footage was spreading too fast to contain effectively. The official Sci-Fi statement was carefully worded: unauthorized footage release, never approved for broadcast. Tragic incident from 2016. Thoughts with Marcus Reynolds' family. Taking legal action against whoever leaked. This was the first public acknowledgement of what really happened to Marcus Reynolds. Legal threats followed immediately. Sci-Fi began investigating the leak source, examining everyone who had access, including original crew members, production staff, and network executives. All denied involvement. Forensic analysis of the uploaded file is ongoing. NDA violations carry serious consequences, including potential lawsuits, financial penalties, career destruction, and possibly criminal charges. Everyone suspects Grant Wilson leaked the footage. He's the only person with clear motive and wasn't bound by any NDA. He had access through Jason, who might have shared the file years ago. Grant is known for his integrity and would leak based on principle, not malice. Grant's response on social media was cryptic but revealing. Some truths need telling. Marcus Reynolds deserves to be remembered for what really happened, not the network's sanitized version. This wasn't quite an admission, but heavily implied his involvement, making Sci-Fi furious. The impact on the Ghost Hunters brand has been severe. A reboot launched in 2019 without Jason or Grant, but now the franchise is associated with death. Sponsors are concerned and advertisers are pulling out. The reboot may be canceled permanently. The legacy is tarnished and the brand possibly dead. Jason Hawes was forced to comment publicly. Marcus was family. What happened haunts me every day. The footage should have stayed private, but I understand why it was released. His conflicted feelings are obvious. Anger at the leak, but validation that it happened. Sarah Reynolds, Marcus's wife, spoke for the first time, breaking her own NDA. "My husband died. People deserve to know why. I'm not ashamed anymore. I thank whoever leaked this footage." It was a powerful statement that changed the narrative completely. Public reaction has been massive. The paranormal community calls it the most disturbing footage ever captured that proves the paranormal can kill. Skeptics claim it's fake, but medical records exist. The death certificate is public, and Marcus Reynolds really died. The footage shows exactly how. The Warren house was built in 1887 in rural Pennsylvania by the Warren family. 7 children lived in the home, but 4 died there under suspicious circumstances. A 7-year-old daughter fell downstairs in 1892. A 5-year-old son drowned in the well in 1895. A 12-year-old daughter died of wasting illness in 1901, and a 9-year-old son was attacked by wild animal in 1903. The parents lived to old age but died elsewhere, leaving the house to their eldest son. The 20th century brought more tragedies. In 1923, a new owner committed suicide in the basement. In 1947, A husband murdered his wife in the same basement. A house fire in 1968 killed one person. In 1989, the previous owner was found dead with no clear cause. The house remained empty until 2013 when the current family moved in. The young couple with 2 children bought the house cheaply, knowing its dark history. They thought they could handle it. Activity started immediately with children reporting invisible friends that quickly turned malevolent. Physical attacks followed, leaving the family desperate for help. Previous paranormal investigation teams had tried investigating, but all left quickly. Equipment failures plagued every attempt. Team members became ill. One investigator was hospitalized and diagnosed with psychosis after spending just one night in the house. A Catholic priest was contacted to perform a blessing, but the activity intensified dramatically. He returned for a formal exorcism, but the ritual was interrupted when the priest was physically thrown across the room, breaking his arm. He refused to ever return to the property. Taps took the case because the family had nowhere else to turn. Ghost hunters had built a reputation over 11 seasons and hundreds of investigations. They had never lost anyone and believed their experience had prepared them for anything. They were tragically wrong. They should have listened to the warnings from locals who said, "That house wants blood and takes one every generation." The basement was the epicenter of all activity. 2 murders were committed there, a suicide occurred there, and residual energy or intelligent haunting or demonic presence created a perfect storm of evil. Marcus Reynolds became the latest victim of the Warren House curse. Multiple forensic video analysts examined the footage frame by frame, searching for CGI or editing. No evidence of tampering was found. Timestamps verified as authentic, metadata checked out, and camera angles remained consistent throughout. Expert consensus: footage is genuine and unmanipulated. Dr. Patricia Morris, a forensic pathologist, reviewed Marcus's autopsy report and stated, "Cardiac arrest confirmed. No underlying disease detected. Stress-induced cardiac arrest is possible. Extreme fear can literally stop the heart. A medical explanation exists for Marcus's death." Demonologist John Zaffis, with over 40 years of experience, reviewed the footage extensively. This is classic demonic possession. The voice change is consistent with documented cases. The physical manifestation is extreme but has been documented before. This was genuine possession. Linguists analyzed the audio and identified that Marcus spoke Latin phrases during the possession. Marcus didn't know Latin. The phrases translated to demonic invocations including, "I claim this vessel," and "death comes." These are ancient evil incantations. Body language experts analyzed Marcus's contortions, noting his joints bent in ways not humanly possible without causing severe injury. Yet no pain was visible on his face because he wasn't in control. Something else was moving his body. Voice comparison analysis showed Marcus's normal voice versus the possessed voice were completely different. Frequency analysis concluded not the same vocal cords producing these sounds. Physically impossible. 2 different sources speaking. Cardiac specialists confirmed that extreme stress can cause sudden cardiac arrest in healthy individuals through Takotsubo cardiomyopathy or broken heart syndrome. Marcus's symptoms match this condition perfectly. Fear literally killed him. Steve Gonsalves, former Ghost Hunters crew member, commented publicly, "The footage shows exactly what happened. Marcus died investigating the paranormal. We all knew there were risks, but never thought someone would actually die. This changed everything about how we viewed our work." Skeptics claim this is an elaborate hoax, but the death certificate is verified, the autopsy report is real, the medical examiner is legitimate, and there are too many witnesses. Marcus's family's grief is genuine. The network's aggressive response proves authenticity. It can't all be fabricated. The consensus among experts: the footage shows a real event. Marcus Reynolds really died during a Ghost Hunters investigation. Whether the cause was paranormal is debatable, but the death itself is undeniable. The footage is authentic, and the leak reveals truth the network desperately tried to bury. In 2016, when Marcus died, Grant Wilson had already left Ghost Hunters 6 years earlier. He had built a new life away from the show but remained friends with Jason Hawes. The night Marcus died, Jason called Grant and told him everything. Grant carried the burden of that knowledge for 8 years, watching the show get canceled and seeing the official story while knowing it was a lie. He watched Marcus's family suffer in silence, unable to speak the truth. Grant didn't leak the footage sooner out of loyalty to Jason. Jason had asked him, "Please don't say anything," and Grant respected that for years because Jason's career was at stake. But something changed when Ghost Hunters was rebooted in 2019 with a new team taking the same risks and going to dangerous locations. Grant feared someone else will die and contacted Jason saying, "We need to tell people." Jason refused. Grant's moral struggle intensified. Loyalty to Jason versus public safety. If someone else dies because we stayed quiet, I couldn't live with that, Grant realized. His decision was made. Principle over friendship, truth over loyalty. Jason had shared the footage with Grant years ago in confidence, so you understand. Grant kept a copy but never intended to leak it until the reboot was renewed for Season 5 with increasingly dangerous locations planned. Grant's conscience wouldn't allow silence when lives were at risk. After the leak, Grant posted a full explanation. Marcus Reynolds died August 23, 2016, investigating for ghost hunters. The network buried the truth to protect their brand. His family was silenced with money. That ends now. Marcus's wife, Sarah Reynolds, supported the leak, breaking her own NDA and giving Grant courage to act. The consequences Grant faces include a possible lawsuit from Sci-Fi, even though he had no NDA to violate. Jason might never forgive him, destroying their friendship completely. The paranormal community is divided, with some supporting his transparency and others condemning the betrayal. Grant has accepted all consequences, stating, "I did the right thing. Marcus deserves to be remembered. If this leak prevents another death, it was worth destroying my friendship with Jason and risking everything else." His motivation was clear. The Ghost Hunters reboot put new investigators at risk. Without knowing what happened to Marcus, they couldn't understand the real dangers. Grant couldn't stay quiet when lives hung in the balance. Truth and safety mattered more than loyalty or personal consequences. Sci-Fi is exploring legal options against Grant, but he had no NDA. Jason released a statement saying, "Grant betrayed my trust, but also, Marcus deserves to be remembered." Their friendship is over. The Ghost Hunters reboot was canceled immediately with Season 5 pulled. Sarah Reynolds is suing Sci-Fi for wrongful death despite the settlement. The industry is implementing new safety protocols. The Warren house is scheduled for demolition next month. Grant has no regrets. "I leaked that footage because Marcus mattered. His death mattered. Truth matters more than loyalty. Some secrets kill. This one already did. I won't let it kill again."